What's going on? Dylan from Pandito Gaming here, back again with another instructional video on how to pack and ship trading cards. Now, if you haven't yet, I do strongly recommend that you watch the first two videos in this series. I will leave a card up here pointing you to that because I will be referring to a lot of the stuff I've talked about previously, but that's pretty much it. Let's get into it. Now, this video was originally mentioned that we would talk about high value and slab shipping, but I actually recently bought some cards that were promo cards, and people shipped them to me like this, where they folded over the seal on the cards, kind of ruining the point of them being sealed. So more or less, I decided to make this a high value and promo card or sealed card video. So we'll split the idea of slabs and larger packages into another video, but that'll be the next one in the series more than likely. So let's start with just plain unsealed high value cards. So this here is an example of a serialized card in Elestrals. This card sells anywhere between $200, $300, just depending. There are a lot of cards that are like this, and in general, I recommend that you use the same shipping technique that I showed in the original singles video, where you just get a plain penny sleeve, you put it inside of a hardback top loader, you tape over this, you wrap that in bubble wrap, and just ship it in a bubble mailer, and that will work just fine. I have shipped things like this hundreds of times personally. I have sent probably close to 200 or 300 cards just like this in this price range, and I've never had an issue with them before. Now, I know some people will want more security than that, and I'm going to walk you through some of the other options that you can use later in the video, but just getting it out of the way, I do think the standard bubble mailer with tracker single shipment works perfectly fine for, I don't know, I use it for hundreds of value in cards. If I was going to ship like a $1,000 or $2,000 card, maybe I'd probably go a little bit more secure, but for these, it's very cheap and it is very effective, so I've used it consistently. So let's talk about sealed cards. So I have two different examples here today. One that's just a sealed card. Now this card in particular, I actually just sold, so I'll actually be packing it up as part of this video. This is a over $600 card. It is sealed in just a standard plastic pack, similar to how that Pikachu was. And this is a sealed promo card that comes in a cardboard container with a plastic seal around it. So this one's much more complicated to pack because it's much bigger than just a single card normally is. Now, in general, when shipping anything, there's two important things that you always have to keep in mind. Number one is protection against blunt force. So having something around it like a top loader is very important to make sure that if somebody drops the package, if something lands on it, if somebody steps on it, you don't want that to affect your card. You don't want it to bend. So there's a lot of different ways you can do that, and obviously there's not really a top loader or semi-rigid that this thing will fit into. It's really big. It doesn't really work that way. These card defenders, these plastic things, are really great for making sure very confidently nothing happens. When I ship something that's worth a whole bunch of money, oftentimes I will put it inside of a hardback top loader and then also inside of these, and it won't bend at all. There's absolutely no bend in this. Somebody would have to break it, or a sharp object would have to pierce it for anything significant to happen, and even then it's pretty well protected. So these are something that I do recommend. These are a little bit more pricey, obviously, than a standard top loader. You're still talking numbers of cents, not dollars. So not using these, there's not a strong reason to, other than it's just more time and more complicated packing stuff. Now, you do have an option for these as well that's much easier and much cheaper than having to buy these, because specifically for this, you can see that this is bigger. The plastic would go around this. So while it's reasonable to use these, I have shipped them just like this before. You can also, in theory, just take two semi-rigid top loaders and shove this in between there. But if you want to keep the integrity of the plastic wrap because it'll stick out, a very easy, personal way of doing it is you can just take some of the boxes you have lying around, just cut the box in a way that your card fits on there. So if I was going to ship this and somebody was really worried about the seal for it, which is normally how I'll ship everything, I would just cut 2 pieces of cardboard in a way that fit this perfectly and just slide it in there like that. So for these big bulkier things, I recommend just custom size cut from the cardboard you have laying around. There's other options you can do. You could ship it inside of a box, like an ETB box or something, but you know, that's a lot more expensive for price. The weight is more, it's bulkier. I think just taking some cardboard and cutting it up is pretty easy. Now, when you're packing the card, you want to make sure that for the second point, you have as little void space and wiggle room as possible. Now, this is even more important than the protection against the blunt damage to the card, because while it is unlikely that the card will be stepped on or dropped while it's being shipped, it is extremely likely that it will be moved and jerked around. And if you just put a card in here like this, shaking it around, you can see the card will just fling around if there's not something holding it in place. Now, I have seen some people do some crazy things with these where they'll just take tape and wrap the entire thing and just cover it like a mummy, turn it into Fort Knox, where someone will have to spend minutes pulling it out by taking all the tape off, or they have to risk cutting around the tape to get the card out. I strongly, strongly recommend as a shipper, you do everything in your power to where people do not have to risk hurting the card when they open it. So I personally just take crafting tape just like this, and I always make sure that you start it in a place where the tape will be accessible. So I'm going to start it over here so that it's easy to find where the tape ends, and I am just going to wrap a single layer around this and make it end again in an easily discoverable place. And I'm going to slightly offset the tape over here so that when somebody wants to open it, it's very easy for them to see, oh, hey, this is where I need to go. Now, you couldn't really see it when I was doing it, but I'm pushing down on both sides of the Ding Defender here, is what this brand is, to make sure that when I shake the card afterwards, it won't move. It does not move because this tape is applying pressure to the card guard around it. So with the top part, again, you do a very similar thing where you only want to do 1 wrap. You don't need more than that. Putting 5 wraps or wrapping the entire thing horizontally or vertically is not going to do anything different than just doing a single wrap around it. So I'm going to wrap all the way around 1 time. I'm going to make sure that I cut the tape in a place where it is easily discoverable so that people can just look at this once and know, oh, that's where I need to start pulling. Sometimes I'll even mark this. You know, you can just get a marker and just color this point right here so that people know, hey, that's where I need to tear. Again, you don't want people to feel like they have to take scissors to the outside and start cutting around it, because they're going to be likely to damage the card, and there's no way for them to tell, did they cut the card versus was the card cut when it originally came. So doing this, make sure, hey, this person is going to get the card. It's not going to slide out in either direction. If it slides a little bit around here, remember, it is still in some plastic. If it slides a little bit, like a centimeter to the left or the right, it's not going to hurt anything. And this tape here, I'm intentionally using crafting tape instead of Scotch tape because I don't want it to leave a mark on the plastic itself. I've had people just tape using Scotch tape the seal on the card, and that leaves residue on that plastic seal, and now you don't want to keep it sealed anymore because it looks really gross because there's sticky residue on it. Now, this is optional if you want to do it or not. I will usually, when I'm really trying to be secure, I will wrap this in bubble wrap on top of the Ding Defender. This more just make sure that the card guard is not going to shake around in the envelope while it's being shipped. And then you just slide that directly into the bubble mailer, which sometimes In this case, it's just getting stuck on the edges, but this does fit pretty well in here. You just slide it straight down, and once you have it in the bubble mailer, you're ready to go. You just put the shipping label on there and you're ready to mail it. So there's some other things that some people will do that I'll mention here. It's not really my strategy, but I know people do it. There's another option where you can take a deck box or other small box, slide your card into it, pad on the sides to make sure that it isn't able to move. Then you close the deck box and you just ship it like that. That is definitely an option. That's something that you could do if you would like to. Another option is, instead of using the bubble mailer, if you want to take the card that you're shipping and you get a relatively small box. So this here is a foldable 4x5x6. And you can either fill it with some air pillows and slide your card inside of there and just close it up. Make sure you fill up the void space, or just use packing paper if you'd prefer to do that. And then you can easily just fold up the box, ship it out, and you're good to go. That's something that I will do for very pricey cards, because the integrity of the bigger box, it's usually, you know, less of a concern of being misplaced as opposed to a smaller envelope. Generally though, like I said, for those 100 value cards, I'll send those in a bubble mailer. I usually won't bother with the box. But hopefully this was helpful. This makes sure that promo cards that are sealed get to the buyer in a way that does not compromise their sealed nature. This makes sure that when you're shipping things, it doesn't risk people damaging the cards when they're opening them. Again, avoid trying to make the thing Fort Knox to open. While it might make it feel safer, it makes it more dangerous to open, and therefore more dangerous that damage will happen that the buyer could say maybe happened before they got to it. But yeah, let me know. Is there anything else you all do differently when it comes to shipping cards? Are there tips that you think I should have included in here? Are there any other types of things that you'd like to see me make videos about how to ship? Just let me know in the comments. Appreciate you. That's all I got today.